So, it has been a pretty prominent but sort of under the radar trade idea that has percolated throughout the course of the season. You know, as a Vancouver Canucks fan, we always love paying attention to our old guys. Oh, what's Bo Horvat up to? Where's Chris Tanev going to sign? How is our guy Tyler Toffoli doing? And of course, because part of this is due to trauma, a lot of Canucks fans will very frequently try to get involved and listen to the scoops of these guys on other teams. That thought process is being rinsed and repeated in this video. Because today, we are heading over to the Calgary Flames beat and getting the scoop as to what the future holds for a former Canuck turned Flame. His name is Andrei Kuzmenko. You already know him. You already love him. Most likely, I would say. I think that most people, despite the fact that Kuzmenko isn't necessarily the best hockey player, still find ways to fall in love with this dude and his personality. He is just such a cool guy. But today, we are diving into a trade update because we did have ourselves some commentary on the matter from Wes Gilbertson and Daniel Austin on the Calgary Sun website. Link down below is our ExpressVPN affiliate link. The show is brought to you by Express. You can go out there, get some free months on your VPN, save some money, and help out the channel all in the process. However, also linked in the description, aside the Express page, is this article from Calgary Sun. Hot topics: Flames trade chips, trade targets, and the buy or sell debate. Before we dive into the entire situation with Andrei Kuzmenko, I want to go out there and just go over the tape here. Kuzi made headlines a few years ago when he was acquired by the Vancouver Canucks in free agency from the KHL. He had a stellar season in 22-23, 74 points, 39 goals. Had he been eligible for the Calder, because cough cough he was too old, he probably would have won it. The season after, though, he declined heavily and was since traded to Calgary in January of 2024, where he got back to his scoring ways, getting 25 points in 29 games with the Flames that year. This season, however, Andrei Kuzmenko has 11 points in 33 games, and he only has 2 goals. He is on pace for 4 goals on the season in 70 games and 23 points. And to go from 39 goals and 74 points 2 seasons ago to this has really dragged down his overall reputation as a potent NHL offensive contributor. Kuzmenko this season, he's 28 years old. He is signed on till the end of this season, making $5.5 million a year, a contract that was given to him by the Vancouver Canucks and the staff that they have over here. However, based off of the decline that Kuzmenko has exhibited as a member of the Calgary Flames this season, despite the fact that he is a really lovable guy, he's got a nice personality, he's funny, he says interesting things, Kuzi has been the subject of trade rumors this season because of his status as a pending UFA. And it has been a question as to whether or not the Flames would trade this guy, a year after acquiring him from Vancouver, in a sort of sell low type of deal. Let's go back over onto that article on the Calgary Sun and dive into what Gilbertson talks about in regards to this idea. Is there any way the Flames can offload Andrei Kuzmenko? Gilbertson says, I don't want to rule it out completely, but I don't imagine Conroy has been inundated with calls about a guy who has notched just 1 goal all season, comes with a cap hit of $5.5 million, and has been a frequent healthy scratch over the past month and change. Perhaps a team with a faltering power play, and in particular a need for a right shot forward, could target the 28-year-old Kuzmenko, but they would undoubtedly be looking for a bargain. I mean, how much would you be offering for a rental winger who hasn't scored since mid-October? Since the ask would certainly include retention, would it be worth it for the Flames to cover up half of his remaining salary if the return was as underwhelming as a 5th or a 6th round pick? It seems like an expensive lottery ticket. And so with this in mind, it seems like the Flames are in a spot where they have no choice. This trade update isn't even an update, it's, hey, he probably won't even get traded. And at this point, it is kind of a shame, and I wanted to dive into this in this video because I get it, it's not really the most newsworthy thing to talk about, quote-unquote, but I do feel kind of bad for Andrei Kuzmenko. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, and maybe it is revisionist history because it was just over a calendar year ago that Canucks fans were speculating and wanting this guy to get sent away. But Andrei Kuzmenko was never really at fault for the circumstances bestowed upon him. He was great as an offensive power play guy, scoring goals from distance, scoring goals in tight, doing everything you needed a net front presence to do in his rookie season. It's why he had 39 goals in the first place. He was a top-line winger with Elias Pettersson, and they had really good chemistry. The next year, though, under Rick Tocchet, in a system that prioritizes defensive efficiency and work ethic, Andrei Kuzmenko and his Russian-branded style of hockey just did not really fit. Kuzi is really skilled, he's got great hands, and he has this sort of interesting way of traversing around the ice. His stride is very weird, and the decisions that he makes with the puck are very Russian-like. He likes to hold on to it a little bit longer, he likes to make fancy plays, but when he starts getting called out for not playing necessarily great defense or not really making the team-friendly decisions with the puck, that's when he starts to get into his shell a little bit, and that's when he starts to be a lot more ineffective. When you hold back Kuzmenko and he's not really feeling it, then he really stops feeling everything that is positive about his own game, and he ends up becoming more of a passenger and a guy who's trying to become something he's not. I'm not saying that Rick Tocchet or the Flames coaching staff or whomever is at fault for quote-unquote ruining his point production, but I am saying that in the system of NHL hockey, there are only a few coaches and players and line mates that would really allow him to excel to the best that he is capable of being. And Vancouver with Bruce Boudreau, that was one of those situations. We already know this from the Elias Pettersson-Miller saga that's been going on the past few weeks, but Elias Pettersson is a lot more of a quiet, just kind of chill dude who doesn't really like pure, argumentative, Army Camp Sergeant type treatment. Some players like J.T. Miller excel under that. If you tell this guy he's not good enough, he's going to go out there and prove you wrong. You can't do that to Elias Pettersson. And because Pettersson has this sort of laid-back and more positively affirming personality, I think that it really boded well with Andrei Kuzmenko, who himself is a happy-go-lucky guy, and he's a really fun personality. He's not really going to go out there and criticize people, it doesn't seem like. And so Kuzi, being the person that he is, it was really interesting and not surprising to see him get along so well with Petey, especially on the ice. The year after, though, everything kind of changed. Elias Pettersson stopped producing as much. Rick Tocchet came in and was the head coach, and Kuzmenko got traded to Calgary, where he was good for the beginning portion of his tenure there. But now, it's kind of gone down the drain once more. So, with this in mind, it does not seem like the Calgary Flames would be in a prime position to trade this dude. Whatever draft pick they get would be not really too significant, and at the end of the day, you know, if Kuzmenko does get traded with salary retained or whatever, it might hinder whatever plans the Flames have, assuming they still stick in this playoff race. They're right in there with the Pacific Division teams in the wild card, so at this point, do you sell? Is it the appropriate time to make these kinds of moves? I don't know. I don't really think so, to be honest. So for Andrei Kuzmenko, unless you're guaranteed that you would send Kuzmenko out and get another asset with a similar dollar amount that's straight up better, unless you have some sort of a deal like that guaranteed, I don't really think Kuzmenko has that likelihood of getting traded anywhere soon, because it just doesn't seem too productive for a Calgary Flames team in the spot they're at right now. An expensive lottery ticket. That's what the article goes out there and says. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of an Andrei Kuzmenko trade? Do you still think it's possible, or do you agree that it's probably not going to happen? Article's linked in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.